Alright, so as I mentioned in last week's Shadow and Schmooze video, I asked you guys a bunch of questions that I was going to include in a Shadow and Schmooze, but now we're just doing a separate Q&A video, so this is just... What? So this is just going to be a chill Q&A video. I haven't done one of these in a long time. So here we go. Got my matcha tea I'm currently addicted to. Grab a snack, grab some coffee. This is probably going to be a super long video. I'm going to leave my Shadow and Schmooze playlist down below and any other Q&As I've done down below because I've gotten a lot of repeat questions and I'm probably not going to... I feel like I have food. Oh yeah. Cool. Lipstick. I'm wearing the Colourpop iluvsarahii Ultra Matte Lip in Mamacita, and I love the color of this, but I never usually get feathering with the Ultra Matte lips, but I definitely do on this one, but I love the color. So let's just get into it. I'm excited. And by the way, I'm taking these from Facebook, and then there were a lot of tweets I'm going to try and get to too, but let's just start with Facebook. So there were a lot of questions about dating. So Adrian Cooper says, kind of random, but I've never really heard you mention dating. So I'm curious, what do you find attractive in a potential partner? Longest relationship? Sorry if that's too much. I'm just nosy AF, lol. Yeah, I don't really talk about my love life a whole lot because this is the internet. Someone else says, do you only date in the Jewish community? I only ask because I find it unbelievable that you haven't had a boyfriend in so long. I definitely date, but I haven't been in a serious relationship in a while. Even if I was, I don't think I would share it on social media for at least a year probably. There are just certain parts of my life that I like to keep off of the internet. So I don't tell you guys every time I'm dating someone or you know, whatever. But to answer Kaylee's question, no, I don't only date in the Jewish community. I'm fine dating anyone regardless of their religion as long as we can align on values and things that are important to me. Adrian's question, what do you find attractive in a potential partner? I've definitely talked about this in previous Shadow and Schmoozes, but definitely someone who is funny, super smart, ambitious, really outgoing. I'm not super outgoing and bubbly and things, so I like someone who is. Someone who likes to travel. Someone actually tried to set me up on Snapchat the other day, so thanks for looking out. If you guys know any potential men that fit this category, send them my way. Oh, longest relationship. I feel like we're talking about relationships for forever now. My longest relationship was 3 years. Morgan Patricia says, when you move, will you get a dog? It's my new apartment that I'm moving into. You can have dogs, which I'm so excited for. And I'm pretty sure what I'm going to do is foster dogs. You sign up to foster dogs until they get adopted. And a lot of the times they're coming from kill shelters. The shelter that I've been looking into is called Ginger's Pet Rescue in Seattle. She gets a lot of the dogs from Taiwan. So probably not right when I move into my apartment, but sometime in the next year, I'm pretty sure I'm going to start to foster dogs. I'm super excited. Veronique, sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, says, do you believe in girl-guy friendship? I definitely believe in girl-guy friendship. I've always been someone who has had really close guy friends. A lot of my close friends in high school were guys, and I'm friends with people that I used to be in relationships with. That's just the way that I like to go about things. I also think some of the best relationships start out as friendships, so even if you don't see potential in someone as a boyfriend at that point, you never know. Tiffany Johansson says, would you like to have kids in the future? I definitely see myself having at least 2 kids, probably 3. Not opposed to adopting kids either. Sarah Green says, what's the worst date you've ever been on? I would say it was definitely a Tinder date right when I first moved to Seattle. The guy wore sandals with socks. That wasn't the big issue. It was just very awkward. You know, those people that just make you more awkward? That guy was one of those people where, like, we should not have been in the same room. There was so much awkward going on. We went to, like, an art festival together, and he had to ask specifics for, like, every single booth. Just not my style. Kaylin Leonard says, places you plan to visit in the next 5 years. Whoa, that's a long time. I usually think in like 2-month increments with traveling. I'm pretty spontaneous when it comes to traveling. I usually book things very last minute just for whoever's there at the time or whatever I'm feeling. So I don't really have a set list of places I want to travel in the next 5 years, but definitely in the next couple years, I see myself doing like a Spain, Morocco, North Africa kind of trip. I really want to go to Lebanon. Kaylin also asked, would you ever do your own makeup brand? Magdalena Anna says, when's the next time you're doing another video with Papa Bearito? So my parents are actually coming to Seattle to help me move, and my dad actually called me this morning and said, just so you know, I have free time if you want to film another video. So he's all in. Let me know what you guys would want to see down below. We've already done the dad tag. We did dad buys my makeup, dad does my voiceovers. So let me know any other videos you guys would want to see with him. Brooke Renee says, do you like to read? If so, what's your favorite book and author? I do like to read. It takes a certain type of book to really get me invested and into it, but I love Colleen Hoover. Colleen Hoover is definitely my favorite author right now. It's coming out with a new one in October, but Too Late is amazing. November 9th I love. Erin Rose says, fear/phobias of yours. To be totally honest, my biggest fear is something happening at night when I'm by myself. That's like my biggest fear. So I basically avoid putting myself in those situations, and I'm just extra cautious, which I feel like everyone should be regardless. But it is just horrible that that's a conscious thought in a lot of women's minds and men, but I feel like not to the same degree. Anyways, that just got deep. Sharks. I'm also really afraid of sharks and snakes. Sharks and snakes I don't fuck with. Vendella Rose says, would you ever put yourself on The Bachelor, since I know you like the show? I've joked about that before with one of my friends, but I don't know. I can't see myself doing any kind of reality TV show. I actually went through part of the casting process for one reality show recently, and I just changed my mind. Like, that's not my scene. I like being in control of editing, but I can appreciate it. I love watching The Bachelor. Man, there's so many guy questions. Okay. Cheyenne Amara says, that's a really pretty name, by the way, not makeup related, but have you ever thought about living in a different country for a period of time? If so, where? I always forget that a lot of people are new and don't know my whole past few years. But I lived in the Middle East in Jordan for a year, also lived in Israel. Yeah, I 100% want to live in a different country for a period of time. It's interesting because what I'm doing right now is technically mobile. Like, I could do it in a different country. The only thing is with YouTube, with new releases, drugstore makeup, all that stuff, I feel like it would actually really affect my content. So I think it would be a little bit tricky, but I would definitely do it for a few months, maybe even have like a month worth of videos pre-recorded and then just film a couple months while I'm there. But if YouTube wasn't something I'm doing, I definitely feel like I already would have been living in a different country at this point. Martha says, what was your least favorite job? I feel like those always have some crazy stories. My least favorite job was working in a dental office. I think some of the ladies in the office watch my videos, so I love you guys. The only part of that I didn't like was the actual work I was doing. It was so monotonous. It was so boring. They were literally converting physical dental charts into online charts. So it was like 10 steps over and over and over again for thousands of patients. I remember vividly looking at the clock and thinking like 45 minutes went by and it would literally be about 8 minutes. And that is when I told myself I never want to have a job where I look at the clock like that. Wenlu says, tell us about your migraines. I know you don't like to talk about your health, but it could help the rest of us here who deal with chronic pain. In the travel blogs, you can see that it takes its toll, but she just keeps on rolling. When I work/travel, I have to budget for the bad days. I 100% budget for the bad days. That's why I do things so far in advance and have such a planned schedule. I give myself at least 2 days of leeway for pretty much everything I do, so that if I am feeling crappy that day, hopefully I have 2 days to make it up and get it done. I'm not gonna talk about it here, there's just too much information, but I think I eventually will make a video on it. I just wanna have some kind of, not cure, but I want to have some kind of relief so that I can share with you guys what actually helped. I want there to be a positive spin on it, so that people can see the light at the end of the tunnel. So as soon as I find that, I'll let you guys know. Kelsey Wilder says, when you have a day that you feel lazy AF, how do you motivate yourself? Being someone who, when I work at home, I definitely have to motivate myself. I don't think you can do those things if you're not self-motivated, but I definitely still have lazy days. And I think for me, I just kind of roll with it. Like, if I have a day where I absolutely can't get in the zone, I don't feel motivated, I'll either go take a break for a couple hours. If I'm literally not getting anything done and just staring at the computer screen, for me, it's like I could have just spent that hour staring at the computer screen and actually gone on a walk or gone on a drive or whatever it is and just taken that hour off and come back more re-energized. So I feel like just knowing when to step away, or I just drink coffee and get re-energized. That's usually my go-to. I actually think for me, my biggest motivation sometimes is putting on music. I work way faster and get way more into it when I'm listening to like good pump up music. So if I am not in the zone and I'm feeling super lazy, just put on some really good, like for me, Eminem gets me going. Candace says, how long did it take you to achieve the level of followers that you have now? 5 years, however long I've been on YouTube now. The date that it says on YouTube when I started my channel is totally off because I created the channel before I started uploading. I think I've been actively making videos for, 5 years. Doesn't happen overnight, folks. Elise Dunnigan says, what extracurriculars were you involved in high school/college? High school, I did gymnastics and tennis. I did ASB at some point. When was that? She also says, what's the best and worst YouTube comments you've gotten? I have a folder of really nasty YouTube comments that I'm saving for a future video at some point. It is disturbing. Makes me really sad for kids in middle school and high school growing up with social media and thinking that it's normal to say things like this or read things like this. But I also have a folder for the good comments. So when I'm having a bad YouTube day, I like to read through some of the good comments and just know that when you guys leave those kind of comments, it definitely affects me in a good way. Without those comments, I think it would be a lot harder to read the bad comments. So you just get to a certain point where you read shit comments every day for years. So you get to a point where it doesn't affect you as much. But the good comments definitely stand out to me more than the bad comments. With bad comments, I usually just delete and move on. Becca Hernandez says, what's your favorite TV show? I think Shameless, actually. Shameless has moved up to the top of my list this year. I love Shameless. I love sci-fi stuff. Anything like Westworld, Sense8. I mean, the classics, Prison Break, Grey's Anatomy. Veronica Collado says, how do you take your coffee? Black. Melissa says, have you been doing something different for your skin? It's looking very clear these days. I switched my face wash, but honestly, my skin has not been clear the past couple months. My skin's actually been pretty bad. Right now, I have some huge breakouts all over. The lights blur everything, so that's probably why my skin looks clearer than it is. But no big changes in the skin department. Oh, someone actually asked if I like snakes. That's a big no. Tamara Jane Fox says, any motivational tips about starting on YouTube? This is one of my most asked questions, like, of all time. Yeah, you just have to start. You really do. People make excuses for 5,000 reasons why they can't do something. Literally all you need now, especially, is an iPhone. You don't even need a camera, a big window, some natural light, and your voice. That's all you need. Most computers come with free editing software, whether it's Windows Movie Maker or iMovie. You don't need any kind of fancy equipment. You don't need any kind of light. As long as your videos are visually appealing enough to watch, meaning you're not in like a dark ass room and no one can see your face or hear you, and you're just being yourself, there are no reasons why you can't at least try. Everyone feels silly at the beginning because you're literally talking to yourself. Almost every single person on YouTube, unless you like came from Instagram and then transferred your audience over to YouTube, every person has gone through the phase where no one's watching your videos, you feel ridiculous, you don't want to tell people in real life because you're embarrassed, you don't know what you're talking about, you don't know what you're doing, you are the only thing stopping you from making videos. Every person has gone through that. I think that's honestly one of the coolest parts about being a YouTuber is that when you meet other YouTubers, you know that everyone has pushed through for years and everyone's gone through that kind of stuff and they just kept doing it, which is not an easy thing to do. You absolutely love doing it. Instead of getting caught up on what other people are doing or how many subscribers so-and-so is at or whatever, you're doing it because you love doing it. And at the end of the day, that's really what you need to keep doing it for years. And it will probably take you years. And if you don't love doing it, then this probably isn't the thing for you because it's not typically something that you see quick growth with. Moral of the story, stop making excuses why you don't have time, money, whatever it is, and just do it because pretty much no one had any of those things when they started out on YouTube. So all of those just came from Facebook. So I think in the next Shadow and Schmooze, I'll pull some of the tweets that you guys sent, but I don't even know how long I just talked for, but I feel like it was a long time. So I'm gonna cut this one off here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I show a lot more of my life on Snapchat. That's where I post most often. So if you're not following me on Snapchat, it's just the Taylor Snaps, not the Taylor. That is not me. Someone else took that name. Thank you. I'm also on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Thank you to all of you who sent in questions. I appreciate it. I love you guys. Thanks for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.